Whatever He wants, we are be willing to do it. And you know, I've heard many people say, but you know, I ain't committed I ain't committed a sin that can't be forgiven. Yeah, many people have not. But where are they going to stand when it comes to judgment, when it comes to the will of God? Where are they going to stand because they did not follow what God wanted for them, but they followed their plan, their way, and they went through the things that God wanted them to do that they thought they wanted, but it was not the way God wanted it to do. They did not want to go through the hard times, so they bail out. How many times will we bail out a hard situation or try to look for another answer, but when we turn that boat, like the song says, we end up way out there and we keep saying, why am I getting in more and more trouble when God just keeps saying, you're going the wrong way. I want you over here. This is where I want you. I did not tell you to go over there, Elijah. I did not tell you to leave for Jezebel, Elijah. I did not tell you to go that way. I wanted you to stay in the midst of that. But guess what? How many of you keep going around the same tree in the same situation when God keeps saying, I'm going to let you keep going around it until you figure it out? Can you not tell that whenever there's misery, chaos, and problems going on in your life, it's not God? That He's trying to speak to you through it. He's trying to tell you things through it. But He's doing it for one purpose, that we may glorify Him. That's the bottom line. Whatever path He has, He's trying to bring us to that place. He has a plan to prosper you. He has a plan to bring you forth. But if He would not answer the prayer of His Son, whenever it broke the glory of God, He will not do it for you and me. He will not follow through on those things and cause us to be in. Unless He does, we're going to be in more trouble. We can end up in Luke 18. As the woman that kept going to the unrighteous judge, begging and begging, till finally God says, all right, if that's what you want, I'll give it to you. But guess what? Like the Hebrew children, we want meat, we want meat. You'll eat it till you get so sick of it you can't stand it. When He answers a prayer that don't line up with His will. You will get sick of whatever He gives you. You will wish to goodness He never... Then you'll begin to beg, I don't want no more. I don't want no more. That ain't the way I want it. He said, no, that's the way you want it. Enjoy it. I tried to tell you didn't need it. I tried to tell you not to do it. I tried to tell you not to go that way, but you want it. Now you suffer through it. You go through it. That was not going to bring glory to me. But you decided yourself to go that route. And I gave it to you because you wouldn't be quiet and kept pressing and pressing till finally I answered it. Now you got it. Now what are you going to do with it? Did it bring glory to me? Is what God is saying. Think about that. The man who prayed 3 times and prayed with everything in him until the sweat of blood dropped from him like drops of blood. Sweat dropped from him like drops of blood. And God didn't answer his prayer. Because it would not bring glory to God and it would not save mankind. Even though he had the power to save his own life. The Bible clearly says he could have bailed out any time. All he had to say is, I'm done. That's all he had to say is, I've had enough and I'm done. But how much is what we said? Oh, how he loves us so. Oh, how he loves us so much that he went down past, that his flesh didn't want to go, that his soul really didn't want to go, but his spirit inside of him knew that that's the way he had to go because it lined up with the will of God. This is the way you got to go. This is the only way you can do it. Well, how many times has God stirred in us, or maybe we make a journey that we know when we start down that journey, there's something inside of us saying, don't go that way. Don't try that way, but we'll go down it. And it leads to destruction, don't it? It leads to more problems than what we have, and now instead of having 10 problems, we got 15. Because God didn't want us to go that route. But we are a free moral agent that can make our own choices. We are. We're praying for God to do miracle works. It'd be great if we could just lay hands on people all the time and deliver every problem. When Jesus went to the pool of Bethesda, why did He only pick out one? With all those impotent folk laying around, why didn't He heal them all? I don't know. But there was a reason. He had a reason for not picking out every one of them, even though He had compassion on every human being. Some of you may be going through sicknesses and situations saying, Lord, but your word lines up healing. Lord, why ain't you healing me? There's a purpose. There's reasons and there's things that's going on that God is trying to bring you and I to the place that we would rather glorify God no matter what we got to go through than Him answer prayers that may not be lining up to take us away from the glory. He could heal us and we could end up getting into some big job that makes us millions of dollars or whatever, and we forget God. We could just break away. We don't understand why He does things sometimes. We really don't. But then we don't understand why we go down these roads that we do. If we could just learn to trust Him. But think about that. You think about Jesus and how He went through these heartaches and how He went through these problems and seeking God with everything in Him. So much that He was crying out to God with everything in Him. Lord, is there not another way? I really want to fulfill Your vision. And how many of us right now really desire to glorify God, but we're looking for it we want to do it a different way. Maybe God's calling us to do something, or we feel something inside of us, but I really don't want to do that. I just want to go the way I want to go. And will it glorify God? No, it will not. You will not see prosperity. You will not see the promises of God if we don't follow what He wants. You will not find it. Now we're going to go to a place in Luke 9 right now where His disciples who made many mistakes. They made mistakes along the way and made bad suggestions along the way. But thank God that God didn't cast them out. They made many mistakes along the way. They did. They would think with carnal mind. They would think with bad ideas. And a lot of times, thank God that Jesus didn't say, get away from me. I'm going to pick me 12 more. Y'all are nothing. Y'all just keep messing up. You keep making mistakes. And that's why He tells us, you're going to make mistakes. I know that. You're going to make problems. You're going to make situations. But I'll forgive you. Just pick yourself up and learn from me. Learn the way I want it done. I want it done in perfect love. I want you to look on every situation in perfect love. Don't be looking at every situation in bad ways. And don't be looking at problems in bad situations. But be looking at it with perfect love and realize we're here for one purpose, and one purpose only are we here for. You can be going to Luke 9:53, where His disciples once again make another outlandish claim of things that they think will help the whole situation out. Here we are, Jesus is going by the town of the Pharisees on His way to Jerusalem. And He's saying, let's go and see if they'll keep us up. Let's see if they'll take care of us as we go down through Jerusalem. But listen to what the disciples and what happens in verse 53 through 56. And they did not receive Him because His face was though He would go to Jerusalem. And when His disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, wilt Thou that Thou command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? But He turned and rebuked them and said, You know not what manner of spirit you are of. For the Son of Man has not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. They were 8 towns, the best I can remember, 9 of the towns of Pharisees. And the best we can figure out that His disciples were saying, let's call down fire and burn up one of the cities, the other 8 will bow down to you. Because they'll realize your power and they'll accept you and they'll take this place. But He's saying, you don't know what you're saying. I didn't come to destroy people. I come to give them life. I come to help them. I come to love them. I didn't come to take them out. And you all are trying to destroy these people. And you want to know what happened? Go on over to Acts 10, you'll see that when Peter went to them, they end up getting saved and filled with the Holy Ghost. Because God knew down the road that these people would turn to Him. What would have happened if they would have destroyed that village? What would have happened in their mind and the mistakes that they were making if He'd have followed through with their prayer and their ask to Him to say, let's just burn up this place and do these great things? We were talking about this a week or two ago. What if we had the power of God in our hand? How many people would we have destroyed along the way thinking we were doing the will of God? How many people has come against us or situations come against us that we said, boy, if I could just destroy them or get them out of the way, boy, how easy this would have been. But you are not looking at them with a loving eye like God was. Jesus was looking at them with perfected love, saying, do not, for one day they will serve me. One day they will be my people. Right now they're being mean to me, rejecting me. But that don't mean we give up like we was talking about. If we had a photo picture of Peter cursing God, we would say there's no chance for that man. Who is he? He's the biggest sinner there was, who turned out to be one of the greatest disciples that ever was.